political configuration of Nigeria. If you look at Kano, Kano is just like Lagos is the hotbed of the southern politics. Kano is a replica of Lagos up north over there. So anything that happens in Kano or to Kano, of course, will be deemed to be a very relevant thing in terms of the political structure. And if Kano falls to the APC or refalls to the APC, because it was with the APC when Ganduje was there. So if he goes back to the APC, there's no way it will alter the configuration over the up north. And then, of course, to the general well-being and welfare and of APC as a party. Yes.
Okay, now, so Barrister, from a legal standpoint, what constitutes a valid defection for a sitting governor, according to the Nigerian Constitution?
There's no constitutional hindrance
at all
to governors defecting, yes. What we have is that of House of Representatives, National Assembly, and the Houses of Assembly at the state level, which the Supreme Court also has shaded a cloud around, given the case of Rivers State. So right now, that also is not standing the test of constitutionalism.
But there was a talk, or whether it could be a constitutional provision that unless, and that's underlined, unless there is a crisis at the national level of the party, then your defection could not be deemed to be how do I say it now, authentic.
And that's why.
But would you say there is any visible crisis in NNPP?
No, I can't see.
So that's why, but I'm also looking at it that way.
No, talking about the governorship, there is no hindrance
according
at
to
the governorship level on defection.
Okay.
And courts have pronounced on that. But now, we need to wait and see whether the members of the House of Assembly will defect with him. But in the case of Rivers State, it's either the court looked away from the provisions of the Constitution or adopted the seemingly troublesome crisis in Rivers State. And again, there is what we call lacuna in law. Some politicians may intentionally create crisis because you have stated it, that if there is crisis from the national, and that is why PDP is under fire. Labour Party right now also, they are from one court judgment to the other. So it's a government of politicians. And that is why some of us expect that the court will be decisive and consider the provisions of the law. For instance, you brought a very brilliant issue. Look at the declaration of the state of emergency. If you go stricto sensu by the provisions of the Constitution, I doubt if anything happened in Rivers State that warranted the declaration of state of emergency. But the president has a prerogative. He even went ahead to suspend an elected governor and suspend House of Assembly. And the Supreme Court now came to say what he did was right. And some are afraid that in the future, how do you manage that? And if you look at Section 4 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended, it states clearly that the National Assembly is mandated to make laws for the peace, orderliness, and good government in Nigeria. So we want them to look at these laws and see where we go. Otherwise, politicians are wise. It's all about power game. They do everything. And look at the NNPP you just mentioned now. Kwankwaso himself did not start in NNPP. He came in 2022 to re-energize NNPP. I think he's been in PDP, he's been in APC.
Exactly.
And so now, if his protege, the one he has groomed, is also finding a political balance, because the governor Yusuf has served Kwankwaso as special assistant. Even when he was federal minister, he has served as commissioner, you know, and now he's looking into his future political career. So Kwankwasia movement will be adopted. And I feel for the electorates. Kwankwasia movement, they are the followers. Anywhere the leader goes, they have to follow. Even if they need to change
it may not be in this case. Because if you go to Kano now, the Kwankwasia movement appears to be divided along the lines of the governor and Kwankwaso. Even Kwakwasi's even say right now, as if somebody who has been browbeaten to accept the reality, that he's telling all the elected officials and particularly also the House of Assembly, well, we understand that some of you are being coerced into accepting to change. If it happens that way, for peace to reign, accept whatever happens and go wherever you want to go. So it seems as if the man have been browbeaten and of which has accepted his.
We even understand he may be meeting the president.
Yes,
Exactly.
For politicians.
No, the thing is this.
Gentlemen,
Yes.
so talking about the Kwankwasia movement
Yes,
now, so what impact could this development have on these supporters?
Well, is it about supporter or the?
Because they are a major stakeholder in this entire issue.
No, it's not about.
You know that.
I mean, the supporters are secondary in this. They are secondary because you have to look at the dramatic personnel and then the ones who are the major characters in this drama, if you will. Kwankwaso is the head of it.
Yes.
The whole. Even that's why if you go through all the reports that I have available to me, I do not place all the blames at the doorstep of the governor wholesale. I have a reason to say that. The reason is simple. That Kwankwaso himself is also dancing. He's also flirting with the idea of returning to the APC. I mean, although I may not quote him verbatim, what he said was that, look, if I'm going to back to the APC, I need to know what role APC will give me, one. I need to know what is coming to the state. Kano State that APC is going to be offering. Number two. Number three, I need to know exactly where my followers will stand. So if you have somebody who has promoted a party and a party has won election in Kano State, and that same person is now flirting, with the idea of going to another party, then why would you expect his political grandson or political son to remain there? Even Yusuf himself is not also sure, because there are talks that he may not also be fielded for the second term. Because he said he'd been fighting a proxy war. The proxy war in the sense that when he came into the government, he met this the Emir Tozo on ground.
Yes.
That's not his war. It was the war between Kwankwaso and Ganduje. He inherited and was fighting the war that don't belong to him. As he was fighting the war, he had no backing from his political family. So a lot of things are happening.
So are you saying that we have deeper internal issues?
That's what I'm trying. Most of them are trying to bring out here. Because people will just say, oh, the man is, why is he jumping ship because he's ungrateful? No, it's not. He has mentioned, he just traced how long he has stayed with Congress. So you are there, you are fighting a proxy war, a war that is not yours. And the person you're supposed to support you is not it's not supporting you. Number two, number three, the thing is that the person who's supposed to hold the ladder up for you, for your political aspiration to also further be sustained for you in the second term, is thinking of going to the other party. So he is thinking, where would my bread be best buttered? Is the APC. So that's why you say, okay, if my guy wants to go there, let me go there first.
Okay, so now I start to you now. So in your view now, is the NNPP struggling with ideology, leadership structure, or even political survival in the Nigerian political scene?
NNPP has ideology, welfareism and industrialization and things like that. But you see, the knowledge of politics I have schooled me that there are levels of interest. National interest, party interest, and personal interest. The personal interest drives every other interest. Let's take our President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I'm sure some will be surprised to know that he was in SDP. It was through SDP he went to the National Assembly.
As a senator.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
And now he moved to AD to become the governor.
No, he didn't move. They formed the AD.
They formed the AD. Yes, exactly.
Because the SDP is talking about, those parties were proscribed.
Exactly, by the military.
No more in existence.
So now to AD.
Yes.
And in 2013, to form a formidable opposition, they ignited APC.
A marriage, yeah.
From ABGA, CPC,
NNPP.
all of them. And it was a brilliant move. And eventually, PDP was dislodged from national political relevance. You see, and you also see that with Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the pilot now, he has his influence in almost all the prominent parties, because I still cannot position where Wike belongs. whether it's PDP or APC.
Exactly.
And you saw that after the state of emergency in Rivers State, the obvious results came out. During the local government elections, 20 local governments to APC in a PDP state, 3 to PDP. Eventually, in the line of your thought, the governor saw the handwriting on the wall. Before my master moves, let me move. And you can see that the battles are still on. So these are issues. So I just want people to know that, it's all about power game, not party interest. So I won't blame Governor Yusuf. I won't blame Kwankwanso. I will just say this is the way politicians are. It's now for the electorate to galvanize and be demanding for good governance. I can let you, because if not for your career interest, and in the political arena, you can hug and hurt me and turn back to hug me. You look at the case of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Aregbesola. They were hugging, suddenly hurting each other. Nobody can tell whether by January 2027 they are hugging again. So and that's why you don't go into the midst of politicians.
I'm taking sides. You can go in, but
many Nigerians
exactly.
don't take sides. Yeah.
Okay.
It's
You know,
risky.
because right now, even in the House of Senate, sir, there are 73, at least, APC members. Simple majority. Moving from Labour, in fact, right now, like I said earlier, 28 states belong to APC. 1 to Accord, 4 to PDP, I think 1 to ABGA. Even the ADC that intends to form the third coalition, what do they call it? ADC is not even on the stage at all. So these are issues. And you see the likes of Atiku moving from here to there, El Rufai, all of them. And even though El Rufai is moving, he didn't tell his son who won the ticket of the National Assembly. You know, so politicians, you must understand them. It is where, and now Yusuf is also looking into the future of his political career.
So it's just
because it's
protecting his
difficult
political career.
in this country to go into politics and come out and enjoy the level of wealth in politics in ordinary business. So that is clear.
Now, Charles, to you now, defections like this, do they weaken Nigeria's multi-party system?
Yes, they do. They do, because we can afford, not only us here in Nigeria, elsewhere, we can afford to always have a single party lording it over everybody. Because what you do is that you make the electorate to forfeit the opportunity to choose. Because what actually what forms democracy, what forms it, I underline that word, is where people are given choices. But when you ram everybody together, you railroad them into one thought. It's a problem. So even when they are riding roughshod everybody, you have no other alternative. If you go to Ghana, a city president was unseated by Mahama Jan, who came in the second. After he left, he was defeated last time because of this issue of not one party being in control. When the government of that day was, according to the reckoning of the people, wasn't serving their interests, they all galvanized each other. I mean, you know, all of them came together and said they didn't want it, and then they chased the government away in the manner of speaking and brought back the government that was the president that was rejected 4 years earlier. So if you have where one party, as I said, is roaming around, railroading everybody towards a single thought process.
But we're not going through that path right now.
Which is why I said I am quarreling with that. But it is the Nigerian people you will blame. What call it? We are to blame because you can't also blame them because when you have poverty, the choices are limited. If there are even choices at all. When somebody is promising you what other thing that you are looking for? It's not swear. So the people are to blame because some people, if South Africa hadn't even against hunger, against facing the guns to say they were going to stand against apartheid, there won't be freedom in South Africa as we speak today. Look at America. What is making America beautiful? It's because of the oscillation of the power block. It's either Republican today or it's a Democrat. If you also go to Britain, where those who colonize us, the power pendulum is also oscillating. But here, when it goes one place, the other people who are there, they move over there. So he hardly oscillates in this place. So it's not a good thing, because if you fail to build an enduring party structure, not even political, party structure, there's a problem. There has to be at least 2 major parties in the system for democracy to thrive. Because it's just one, that one will do anything they do, anything they like. There's no opposition to say. But if there's opposition, they will be afraid to take certain decisions, knowing that the other party is waiting in the wings to chase them away, in a manner of speaking, as I said earlier.
So what lessons should smaller political parties learn from all these controversies going on?
There are no lessons to learn, because even the structure we have built is wealth-driven, fund-driven. So where are the small political parties going to get the resources to drive? And even the citizens we are talking about, the electorate, right now it's been projected that 141 million citizens in Nigeria will be within the poverty bracket. So you know what that means? So that means 25,000 naira for vote buying is huge when election comes. And some politicians have weaponized poverty.
Exactly.
So these are my issues here. And again, we were some who started, because when I saw it, I was moved back. When my president and commander-in-chief said fuel subsidy was gone, people were happy, high hopes. Then I monitored to see the impact of this removal on the generality of citizens. And I read that the money was being given to governors. So you are now wondering why governors are defecting. They are loaded. And who is in charge of the political mechanism in a state? Governor now. So you want to go to opposition. See, when Gani Fahimi was alive, in Ikeja here was campaigning, giving flyers. And people were asking, is it flyers they will eat? So election comes now. Opposition is saying our total budget for this election is 10 million. And somebody is bringing 214 billion naira. That, okay, where are we going? So everyone must be involved. And again, politicians should realize that what goes around comes around. PDP threatened to rule the country for 60,
but they did for 16.
But a movement came. But again now, the flirting of politicians is also weakening that movement, because some characters that could have driven that opposition movement, some of them are floating now. So honestly, I think my hope is that somewhere along the line, the leadership will just realize that, we've had enough of politics, let's focus on good governance, that we create commonwealth for common good. Otherwise, Nigeria is migrating towards politocracy, which is the government of the politicians, by the politicians, and for the politicians. And that is totally different from democracy.
But I think there's a window of hope. Or is it a window of hope or a window of solution?
Yes, I was going to ask, what does this, these alleged defection tell us about, party loyalty in Nigeria?
Well, party loyalty...
And our final question.
For now, party loyalty is difficult to define, because if you are, as we are told, if you are coercing someone to drop his party flag and come back to your party, or else, Elysis, you leave the thread hanging. Would you say the person is going to be loyal to that party? No. When he was practically coerced to join you, or even intimidated to join you? There's no loyalty of any kind in that party, because the person was forced against his will or her will to be there. But as I said earlier, I think the smaller parties can indeed do something. For instance, you have 18 political parties as you speak, but only 1 or 2 of them are ahead of. But what stops all these little ones to say, okay, let us join forces with the opposition? But you will find that once you get there, you have 18 political and 18 candidates on the ballot.
Okay.
Most of them are, you know what we also say? He said in political contestation, there are contenders, there are pretenders.
Exactly.
So you now have about about 16 pretenders.
And
You know what will happen? Before they start coming together, those who will scatter them would have been planted there.
Okay.
Look at ADC now. How are they going to consolidate? And that is top-line politics. So,
okay, let's just say let's say 15 seconds, your final words. 15 seconds.
you know, government is expected to give good governance. You see, and if you want to study some vibrant templates across the world, study Switzerland, study Sweden, study Singapore, you know, create commonwealth for common good. Even the stress of politicking will reduce.
Okay, so
for me,
Charles,
I think the people have a role to play in this. When I mean people in Nigeria, if there exists of good governance and the government knows that the number is there among the people, we subsume all our ethnic interests. His Ondo is subsume his Ondo interest, subsume my Edo interest. All of them come together to say the national interest must be overriding interest. Once the politicians are aware of that, they can't break our ranks. Then they will sit down and sit up and do what is right.
Gentlemen, thank you for sharing your insight with us today on the program, The Conversation. I've been speaking with Barrister Jide Ologun and Charles Idoho. Thank you once again for coming on the program. So as the political landscape continues to evolve, development like this just, reminds us that democracy is not just about elections. It's about institutions, loyalty, ideology, and let me add one more, accountability. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, Conversation Lagos will take over. Stay with us.